Hello everyone! Today I'm going to go over how to set up your digital sketchbook for this year for e-learning. We're going to be doing this on Google Slides. So on Google Classroom, I already made a blank template for you that has the basic structure set up. So all you need to do is open that up and go to File, Make a Copy, Entire Presentation, and you'll be able to go through and edit and create whatever you need to on those slides that relates specifically to your project. For today, I want to not only make a copy and save it and share it with me. So at the top, you're going to go to Share and type in kmarcordes@hf233.org. That way, I definitely have access to it. We won't have any problems later when I'm grading your sketchbooks. And then also turning it in for each assignment on Google Classroom, which you'll go to Google Classroom, and under the assignment you can actually turn in the Google Slides presentation there when you're ready for me to grade it for each part that we go through. On the first slide, see it says first and last, so please put your first and last name, the class that you're in with me, as well as the period number, and digital sketchbook. The second page is going to be an artist biography, so something that tells about you as an artist. You can kind of develop this as you go, but something that you would be wanting to share to somebody who's going to look at your portfolio. My example is going to be in my finished slides to show you later. For each project, you'll have a title page, your brainstorming, which the first one is going to be, what is your design going to be about? What is the purpose of your design? Remember, every graphic design has a specific purpose of why you're creating it. And then answer each question provided under the planning phases, planning phase 1, when applicable to the project. So on our actual class website, I'll usually have planning steps that ask you specific questions that you'll be answering in this slide. The next part, step number 3, is the artist technique. You're going to find 3 style references. So remember, we talked about the trending styles of graphic design for this year. It doesn't have to be one of those that you choose, but I want you to stick to 3 specific images that show off that style so that you can use that as reference for your project. Number 4 is inspirational images. These are going to be based on layout, so the organization of your space, looking for techniques that the artist used of how they created their layout successfully, maybe using the rule of thirds, the placement on the page for visual hierarchy. So what did they do really successfully, and how are you getting ideas from that to use in your project? So again, 3 images that represent your research of layouts. Number 5 is the actual idea development. If you would like to sketch or draw on the computer, that's fine. If you would like to do it on in a sketchbook or on paper, that's also fine too. You can always take a picture with your phone and then email it to yourself, so you can put it right on your Google Slides if you're doing it on a separate document. If you would like to draw right in Photopea, that's definitely an option too. Then you'll save it as a JPEG image and drag and drop it right into here for your sketch. What I don't want to see in the sketch and development page is the final design or something going towards the final design. So it shouldn't look like a complete graphic design yet. It should look like a sketch, like a drawing. So on here, there's thumbnail ideas. So as you're kind of planning out and figuring out what your space is going to look like, these are your rough drafts of your idea. Once you pick one of these that you think is the most successful, then with a little bit more detail, you'll put it together. Notice that I divided this final idea into the rule of thirds, just to double check that I'm using the rule of thirds wisely. Number 6 is going to be, as we're going through the project, you're going to be showing me documentation of your work as we go, maybe half a week, so that I can give you constructive criticism on your piece. If I can't see us in the classroom and walk behind you every day to be able to look at what you're doing, I need to be able to give you that feedback as we go once or twice a week. So as we go, I will ask you to add a progress shot onto one of these 3 items here, so I can actually go back and comment to you and give you some criticism. Number 7 is going to be a reflection. So when you are completely done with your project, you're going to put the final design on here and just reflect on your design. So reflect on your project by speaking about what you've learned, how you grew as an artist, while you were creating this specific piece. Think about what you had to research and think about, and what you took away from this actual assignment. What were the successes of this piece using the elements and principles? What do you think that you did really well? And then again, the final design image should be present here so that when you share this with anybody, they can see not only your steps to get to the final design, but also the final design. So thinking about all of that, here is an example. You can see that I set up my cover page to make it a little bit more interesting. I also put my biography, and now I'm ready here to start my slides for my first project. Right now for you guys, I added in 4 projects. But as you go, if you want to keep making copies of my slides so that you have those, I have 4 projects already set up, but as we get in the swing of it, you can just look back at the original ones and see the order of items that you're supposed to have in your sketchbook. It's also in all the planning steps on our actual website itself for class. Just a little fun activity to get in the swing of how to use Google Slides. It could be fun if you would like to try setting up a Bitmoji Locker, something super relevant for this year since we couldn't go back to the school. I do have this on Google Classroom as well as a template just to get used to dragging and dropping. The biggest thing with this is that when you add items onto your Google Slides, if you're searching for references or searching for images to add in within a space for maybe decorating your cover or whatnot, make sure you're searching for transparent items. So if I go to Insert, Image, and I'm looking for something on the internet to use for decoration within my slides that I'm creating here, make sure you're searching transparent. So for example, my tiger, cartoon, transparent. Then whatever one I find on here, at least in the first part here where it's reading it correctly, I can drag and drop it in because it is a PNG image saved with no background. I'd be able to add that right into my space. So good way to practice using Google Slides and just, making something a little bit fun and creative. Maybe you could even use this for your cover page, but it's not required, not anything you have to do for our class, but it could be a fun way to practice with this. It also shows a little bit about who you are so I can get to know you better. So you can see a little bit about me in my virtual locker that I created here. Also, I wanted to bring this up in case you wanted to add your Bitmoji like you saw in my example. For mine, if you'd like to add that in, there is a way to add yours in if you have one created. If you don't and you want to make one, it's an app you can download on your phone. Just search for Bitmoji in the App Store or Google Play, whatever type of phone you're using. It's going to be a little different that way. But look for Bitmoji, and then you can add it on as a Google extension. So if I type in Bitmoji Chrome extension, you would just add it to Chrome, and notice it adds it right up here at the top, Bitmoji. So I could search for the Bitmoji that I want to add into my presentation here. And again, just like everything else, it's drag and drop right in, and I can help use those to decorate my space. Remember though, from our copyright infringement speech, that anything that's in your actual design has to be copyright free. For the cover, for your virtual locker, if you'd like to create one, obviously that's not going to count. It's not something you're going to use in your art portfolio, but anything on your actual project should be copyright free. So pages like unsplash.com or other resources that it's free hosting that the artists have approved you to use them, you can use it. Otherwise, everything should be created originally by you.